All right, we are live. Let me check my audio. Can you all hear me? Can I get some feedback on my voice? Am I clear to all of you? Hello, all. Yes, my voice is clear. That's fair enough. Cool. So let us recap what are we doing today, and then think about what's the plan for today, right? So the idea is that in the previous session we have already seen how to build agents to begin with, right? What are agents and how to build them? Uh, the next thought here is that can we add a little bit more into this, take some more depth around it. One is what are guardrails? We talked about it. Then what are hands off and how can we do those things, right? So let us try to see these things today. The very first thing that we are going to do is, first of all, again, the most simplest way would be that we import the libraries, right? And before that, let us not forget that we need to open up the terminal wherever we are hitting it, okay? And then we need to use virtual environment. So UV, VENV, let us make it. Well, this is done. Now, let me just quickly take up what are libraries which are needed, right? I'll just quickly take it from the previous code. All right. Let me create a file known as requirements.txt. So the reason I'm doing this is because I'll be sharing it a file with you, right? Okay, just give me a second. I'll just quickly clean up the requirement.txt. Let me use and quickly generate requirements. Okay, cool. Here we have copy and paste, save, and then I'll say .venv. Let's activate uvpip install -r requirement.txt, and this should quickly resolve our dependencies and create a virtual environment. Yeah, so we are done. We have agent classes activated with us in the virtual environment. Now the idea is I'll say hashtag importing basic libraries. Okay. Now in order to do this, we will just take off the libraries that we used in the previous example. OS Pydantic. This will be used for schema validation, or you can say schema declaration. Okay. Agents SDK to create agents. Okay. Disable tracing for agents when not using OpenAI models. Asynchronous programming support. Load environment from .env file. You need to create this file and store your keys in it. Okay. OpenAI client for asynchronous operations. Cool. I don't think we will be using this library. Cool. So So I have done a lot of comments in this code so that whenever you use it as a reference, whenever you try to learn from it, there are enough comments to teach you how we can do certain things, right? So again, since we are trying to work with guardrails, this time I will show you something really interesting. What we will do is we will create a virtual environment. Sorry, we'll create a .env file, and what we will do is this time we will try to use a model which is not open source, but a paid model. But of course, it is available for free to all of us. Okay. Now, in order to use this model, you will have to go to the Google Studio. So let me just try to reshare my screen. Okay. I'll just ask the moderator. I'll just once share my entire screen. Share screen. Entire screen. Now my screen should come up quickly. And let me just see if there are any questions meanwhile. All right. So my screen should be back live now. Let me try to open up a browser and try to open up, say, incognito mode, and then say Google AI Studio. You will see aistudio.google.com. This is the website that I am referring to, or ai.google.dev. Both are fine. If we go to Google AI Studio, that is fine. You simply need to click on it, aistudio.google.com. Okay, and you can just sign in to Google AI Studio. When you click on sign in, you will have to use one of your registered email ID. For example, if I use any random of the email ID, crossbox, okay. All right. Cool. So we have just registered on Google. Enter our password. Let's try to see. Okay. Let me just use a different email ID then. Okay, I think this will work. Let me just confirm this through my mobile device. And there we go. So we have successfully signed in on aistudio.google.com. Now we just need to click on get API key, and you will see that we have API key available right over here, right? This is the API key. If I click on it, it will directly show you the API key, which I cannot on live screen because it will use my account to run, right? So this is a sensitive key. People do not share it with anyone because it can lead to unforeseen billings, which is fine. It won't be a lot of trouble, but because you see currently we're on the free plan, the plan is free, but your API could then end up using a lot of usage which you don't want. So make sure that this API is safe and not visible to anyone. But the goal was that I wanted to show you how you can generate the API key for Google's Gemini large language model, LLM, right? And it is fairly simple. It is pretty easy to do it. I just told you that you need to go on aistudio.google.com. You can just Google this, Google AI Studio, and you will land up here. You need to sign up first. Once you've signed up, you can click on get API key, and there it is. You can just copy this one. Okay. Now let me close the browser. Okay, here we are. So what we will do is we will say we will declare a variable Gemini underscore API underscore key. Okay, and any sample, like suppose if this is your API key, then you just need to save it. Okay, once you save it, That's how you will generate your .env. Any doubts still here, students? You can ask me if there are any doubts. So I'll just, okay, this is not the one, this is another. Let me delete this. I'll have to use the proper key. Okay. Uh, just a second, people. So let me just go back and check on the API key. Okay. I'll just quickly set up my account. I hope you people are also able to set it up quickly. Yes, this is the wrong API key. Let me just check from which account I'm using it. AI Google Studio, get API key. Yes, this is the wrong one. I'll just quickly reset my API key. Meanwhile, let me know how many of you are able to generate the API key for yourself. Okay. If there's any difficulty in getting this API key, do let me know. Okay, got the API key. Storing it right over here. Save. All right. So now my virtual environment is prepared. It has the Gemini API key. .env underscore sample, and you can see what you're trying to do here is Google, or I can say Gemini API key. Enter the value here. Okay, just need to use the sample. That's it. Just name it .env and you are good to go. Okay, the Pancho generated the API key. That is good and fair enough. Cool. Now let us go back and now try to load our Gemini's API key, right? So what we will do is the part one is to set up and Gemini configuration. So load env will load the environment variables which are stored in .env file, and set tracing disabled would make the tracing disabled, right? Then the idea is that we will use the Gemini's base URL, which is always this. You can see generative google ai.api.com underscore v1 underscore openai. So see, this is the beauty of OpenAI SDK, that many of the third-party providers could be Grok, Grok, Gemini, and other LLM platforms. They all have exposed their LLMs for the OpenAI SDK, right? So how Google provides it? This is the link: generative-language.googleapis.com slash v1 beta slash openai slash. So this is the base URL on which we can retrieve it, right? So how do you just quickly load the API key for Gemini would be that Gemini API key then could be loaded like this: os.get initial auth token. The Gemini API key will automatically load if it is there in the initial auth token, but if not, I'll just quickly tell you how we can do it. See, we named it as Gemini API key in our environment sample, if you see, right? Gemini API key. So whatever name you're giving, you just need to put it over here. The Gemini API key is os dot get environment Gemini API key. And you see how safe and secure is loading API keys from .env, that I do not need to expose it anywhere in the code, right? So if you just look at my code, you will not be able to understand which key I am using until and unless you have the access to print it through my terminal, right? So that's the idea. To keep the API keys secure, we will be using something like this. Now, once this is done, okay, let us say set up Gemini language model. Okay, so once you have done this, next thing is to set up the client. Okay, so Gemini client is async OpenAI, and the base URL is what? This is a base URL, and there's the API key that we will need to pass because we are using a paid model now. Paid in sense that it is on a free tier, but still it is a big model, right? Now, what kind of model do we plan to use? So if we go back to AI Studio, Google, you will realize that we have many different models to which we can choose from. You will see Gemini 2.5 Pro, 2.5 Flash, 2.5 Flashlight, and 2 series, which is image generation, and 2.0 Flash, 2.0 Flashlight. These are pretty capable model, I will say. We also have 2.5, 2, and Gamma on the smaller side, and the other models. But we are good to go with 2.0 Flash. We will be using 2.0 Flash. And how do you use it? So this is the name of the model, Gemini dash 2.0 dash Flash, written uh, in the string right below over here, right? So even if we click over here, you will see that the model name is right mentioned over here, not in the white text, but in the grayer text, Gemini dash 2.0 dash Flash. This is exactly how you need to write this model name in your code. Okay, so we will go and we will try to write that code and set up the model instance, right? So let us set up the model instance. And see, we have created a model instance for our agents, which is OpenAI chat completion. Model is 2.0 Flash, and OpenAI client is the Gemini client this time. So what is different from day two is that day two was how you can create agents using the Llama series or any open source, could be Quen, Llama, Gamma, or whatever you want. Uh, this time we are seeing how we can do it with models like Gemini, Grok, or it could be even OpenAI's models. So I hope like you will be able to get both the worlds. Okay, so this is the idea of it. Now we need to then create a structured output. Okay, let us say we need to create a structured output for our sales emails, right? So let us mention something over here. The goal of this agent, the goal of this project is to use agents which generate cold sales emails. Okay, using the Gemini model, the agents will be able to design will be designed to generate emails. Okay, using subject and body templates. Okay, so in order to generate the subject and body template, what we'll have to do is we will have to create a class. Okay, class using you can say the Pydantic base model. So if you see, I am creating a class which is superseded by base class. Like base class is a base model is the parent class, and base model, if you use this, is used for schema declaration of structured objects. Okay, so this is what we will use, the base model of Pydantic, in order to generate it. And it is very fair to use, a simple way. You do not need to put a lot of head k. You need to learn this Pydantic base class or not. You can watch few tutorials around it, but it is very simple. You just need to use key values. Okay, in this class you just need to explain in a docstring what this class is all about, to keep it clean, of course, and to keep it more readable. But the goal is that you need to define variables and their data types. That's it. And if you remember, I told you we can also go on and explain which is mandatory and which is optional, and if it is an array or whatever it is, right? You can explain that. We will generate subject and body. That's it for us. Now the next idea is that we need a tool, right? We need some tool because uh, overall agents, whatever we generate, they are nothing but a set of large language model, some decision making body such as OpenAI SDK, and some function tools, right? So let us generate a function tool which will save email, okay, using subject and body, and return a dictionary around it, okay. So save the email subject and body to a text file known as generated email.txt. So save email tool called, okay. File name is a variable name. Full content is where we will be using the string to paste whatever the subject and the body was. And with using the open file write operation for Python, we will write it using this encoding and f.write. Once it is written, we will say email saved successfully and return the status code that good, we are good to go here. In case of any error, in case we are not able to open up this file, there is some permission error or any other problem, we can use the exception block and return a failure status. So this is more fail-proof code. Okay, this will make sure that your code doesn't break, but anytime you get an exception also. So this is the overall idea of how we will be saving email. Currently, we are saving it locally, but you are good to go to use any automation function over here to actually send this email using this function. Okay, so that's it for now. Now we have done it. The next thing is we need to now declare agent personas, and we also need to put in guardrails. Okay, so I'll explain you what guardrails are right now. So this is a good time to explain it. Now remember, I told you that guardrails are used to make sure that our agents, despite being in an environment that they are free to make any decision, we can still have some control checks, some you can say security levels that make sure that agents are not going off the track. They are still on the track. Okay, so guardrails are nothing but some, as the word suggests, something that keeps your agent on the tracks. So suppose your agents are not supposed to write something, or they're not supposed to use a particular type of you can say language or particular keywords, hot words, whatever it is, that you do not want to make sure that your agents do certain behavior, or the output is not of a valid type. You need to validate the output type, or any type of thing that you need to assure that you need to make sure that your agents are following. That can be put into guardrails, and declaring a guardrail is as simple as writing down instructions what the guardrail is supposed to do. So for an example, if we create agent personas right over here, the instruction is that you are a professional sales agent working for our company that provides some product. Okay, your you can say your responsibility is to write a cold email. uh, you must output the email in a structured JSON format, such as with a body as a subject and body. Okay, structure output for checking if the name is present. What you have to do is we are putting a guardrail that check if the user is including someone's personal name in the message. If a name is not found, then if the name is found, then return the name. If not found, then it is fine. Okay, so we are putting a guardrail right over here, right? That we need to check if our email is by default using any personal name. Okay, this is one check. I told you check could be of anything. Maybe you need to check if the data type is valid, or data type is on some type, or there is some keyword present, there is any personal name present, proper noun present, something like that. You can check anything. A guardrail could be anything as per your requirement. Can I write instructions in JSON format somehow? Yes, you can write instructions in JSON format also. That's acceptable. Okay, until and unless it is stringified. Okay, put it in the JSON format, put in the string. So that's also valid. So you can put it over here. You can give whatever it is. It is just a simple prompt, and what I'm declaring it as is the name check output. And if you realize, it works with the pydantic model, which by default uses a JSON structure with two key values. One is name in message. If it is a true, then just give the name. So the response is this. Key value is right over here, and the guardrail agent. So we have one agent which is like a guardrail. Okay, And if you remember, I told you in day one itself that guardrails can only be used during input or output. Okay, so we can either have an input guardrail or the output guardrail. Now that we have declared this class, let us use it as a input guardrail. Okay, and then we will have our sales agent come into picture. So let me just work around this part. I'll clear the canvas a little bit. Let me wanna close the terminal. Let me close this window. Try to zoom in the code a little bit so that you have better readability. Let's add a few more lines. And remember what we have done right now? We have just declared this class name check output. Okay. And now we will declare, sorry, not control B. Now we will declare the input guardrail. Okay. So what input guardrail? So at the rate input guardrail is the decorator which will help the code realize that we are declaring a guardrail. Similarly, at the rate function tool will help the code know that we are declaring a function. So while declaring input guardrail, what we are doing is we are using an asynchronous function which is guardrail agent name, and we are passing context agent and message. An input guardrail that uses an agent to check for personal names in a message. So what we will do is we will run the runner method. I told you that runner has multiple variations, runner.run, runner.run async, and runner.run is the most basic thing that you will mostly use while designing agents. So runner.run actually helps you run your agent. So the very first thing that runner.run takes is what agent are you trying to run? And when you pass this, you need to pass what is the query, and then you need to pass the context, okay, when you're declaring a guardrail agent. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, is name in message result dot final output dot is name in message. That is something that will come up. Okay, Prafula has a query that for me it is showing 133% of the program is completed. Well, that is because yesterday's session was cancelled. So we are having a fourth session. So 4 out of 3 would be the percentage that will be causing this bug. Your certificate would be generated maybe after the designated time of this session to end, which is 8 p.m. So maybe after a 1.5 hour, whenever this database would update for their website, you'll be able to take the certificate. Okay, so don't worry about it. Any other question that I'm missing? I don't think so, right? Let me go on all messages. Yes, we have covered all the questions. Cool. So once we declare the guardrail, the next thing is we have a sales agent. How to declare the agent? You give the name, you give the instructions. If you remember, instructions are mentioned right over here, and model is Gemini model. Output type is email draft that we declared on top. What tools it can use? It can use save emails. What are the guardrails which can use as the input? Are input guardrails. So this is a good amount of knowledge that as a fresher you can have. In fact, if you know how to declare these agents, you are good to go, right? See, in order to declare an agent, you need to give its name, what instructions it will follow, what model it will have, what is the output type it has to follow, and which tools and guardrails it can use. Okay. Once you have declared it, you're good to go with the main execution block. Let me quickly add up the main execution block right over here. Let us check what is the main execution block coming up. Before that, let us just quickly sync up what we did. We imported basic libraries. We used the virtual environment. If my API key is set correctly, this code should run. We declared the Gemini model. We declared the basic email draft. Okay. Like the structure of what it has to follow. We declared one function. We gave agent instructions. Okay. The agent instructions can come a little bit later in the code also. Let me cut it. We declared the name check output guardrail, then the guardrail agent, and the input guardrail that we declared. And now we are declaring agent instructions. Declaring agent with our instructions. Okay, so we gave instructions, and this is our agent right over here. So once we have the agent, part 4 is main execution block. What we're doing is we're creating an asynchronous function that will run the structure output workflow. This will demonstrate the agent with structure output and a guardrail. So what is message save? So save message is write a cold sale email for a SaaS tool for SO2 compliance. What is an unsafe message? See, we never want our agent to work with personal names, right? So write a cold sales email to address to my friend Elise. I don't want it to work for friend Elise, okay? I want it to work for professional mails only, not personal names. So idea is that we should first get a printing that running agent with safe message. What is that message? With that, it should try to run safely the agent and the email draft and success agent generated a email structure. What is the body? What is the subject in the body? So since we are not using trace, I try to print a lot of things so that you people can see what is happening, and it should save this using this, right? Now if we are able to save using the agent, that is fair enough. When we run this with a potentially unsafe message, we will see what happens. Since we are relying on Gemini, the performance should be much better than our 8 billion model which we were using on day 2. Let me try to see if things are good enough. This should run .venv scripts activate python agents.py. So if all requirements are correctly satisfied, this should run. All right. Running agent with a safe message. This is the message that we are putting into the agent. And if you see, the agent has given us the subject and the body. And your name, are you spending too much time on this? This is the email with best regards. This is the structure that is mentioned. Using the tool with the structure output, final result from tool, subject need email to save. Okay. And it is using our function calling and saving it. Now let us run with a potentially unsafe agent. And once we do it, write a cold sales email. This is where our guardrails come into picture, right? You see failure. The agent was successfully blocked by the guardrail. It is guardrail input guardrail triggered a tripwire, which means that it found that there's a potential personal name that the agent was supposed to use now. So the guardrail made sure that the agent will not write this email. Okay, that's the idea of how you can use tripwires to make sure that your agents are better at handling at cases that you don't want it to work. Now, even if we try to see, you will see that okay, right over here, this is the subject body in the email coming up. Okay, now one thing that I like to give you is that this code currently, since I was using Llama 8 billion till yesterday, I had purposefully split the requirements into two different runner.runs, right? Because Llama was not really capable at handling these functions, okay? Which is what I found. Sometimes it was not able to use my tool calling. Sometimes it was not able to follow up the prompts correctly because it is comparatively a smaller model. Llama 8 billion will be better at text generation and normal chat applications. But to make it agent, I will say that at least 30 billion of model is needed to create agentic workflows, right? So Gemini should be able to handle it better. So what you can do is, as learners, you can try to change the prompts and make sure that only single runner.run is able to complete this entire workflow. We should not have a separate runner.run to save the email. The same runner.run which generates the email should save the email also. So for an example, if you see our agents, we are passing that as a tool save, okay? You can try to merge everything into a single run that it generates and saves everything in the same place, right? So this is the code that I'll pass it on to you. Let me just open up my Google Drive, okay? I'll just see where my drive is, drive.google.com. Let me upload a file. Okay, this path is let's upgrade live classes, agent class, agents one, open. All right. So now, okay, my file is uploaded. Let me see where it is. Agents one, right click, share with others. Anyone with the link is a viewer. Permissions updated. Now I will share this link with the moderator. Moderator can put this link in the OneDrive all-in-one document that you all possess, right? You all have the access to all-in-one document. So in this document, I will put this link, and the moderator can also share this link in the chats right now. The moderator can pin this in the chats, okay, so that you all can just get this link. Okay, so I have asked the moderator to share the link with you. That should be done in some while. Let me clear the terminal. Let me close agents.1. All right, fine. Now we will try to run few more things. Okay, we'll try to see how we can use hands off. So hands off is used when we want to completely transfer the use case to some another model, right? So let us just use our previous code that we were using. I will say agents to hands off with llama.py, and there we go. If you see that this time we are loading all our library, we are loading our environment variable, we are setting set trace to false, we are this time hitting to base URL localhost, and the API key coming right over here. If you compare it with our previous code, you will realize that how we declared Gemini was that we used async OpenAI method. We are using the same async OpenAI method over here. In the base URL, we are passing in where the large language model is hosted. In case of our open source model, we will pass the HTTP link or HTTPS link wherever we are hosting it. In our local case, we will give the local port, local host on the port /v1. In case of any third-party LLM such as Grok, Gemini, or others, you need to make sure that you have the valid base URL path coming right over here. For Gemini, it is this. For Grok, you can find it. Okay, so let's try to see base URL for Grok API, and this is the base URL that you need to use for OpenAI, api.grok.com/OpenAI v1. Okay, you can use this in case of or any other URL. You can just quickly find what is it. You need to pass over here, and then the valid API key for that large language model. Okay, so that's one. Let me also try to take you to Azure Foundry, which is a very good place to find many interesting large language models available, right? Uh, we'll have to sign in. Okay, let me try to sign in. Okay, I might just skip sign in. Okay, let us see Azure Foundry LLMs models available list. You will see that there are many OpenAI models, DeepSeek models, Llama models, Grok, Cohor, Mistral, Pi models, and many more models if you just check the catalog. Okay? Especially the catalog is really interesting. Right over here, O3 Pro, Mini, DeepSeek, everything hosted in Azure environment so that you don't have to waste a lot of money in running it. So even flagship models like Llama 4 Scout, Llama Maverick, GPT 4.5, DeepSeek V3, Pi 4, Mistral, Mistral Large, Mistral Small. So many interesting models are available to be directly used. They have such a big library, like 11,000, 1100. Like you can count this number, right? 11,111 numbers of models they have available, which is a big deal. So Azure Foundry is really a good place to find a lot of large language models, and from there you can use their base and API key if you're buying them. But I'll recommend as students, you already know what to do it. Either open source Llama, and use Gemini API key if your computer is not able to host a large language model correctly, you can use Gemini, and with it, you can create the Gemini model. The goal of this project is okay. This is fine. I think. All right. No, sorry. Yeah, I was just wondering where is the code. Right over here. So by now we just loaded the environment. We created the Ollama client and the Ollama model. By now you should be very comfortable in declaring this, and you should not feel like this code is very different for you. You should be able to understand how async OpenAI uses base URL and API key, and how model and the model client are passed. Now, with that being said, we are doing nothing much. Okay, we are just putting in our function tool save email right over here. The same function tool, I'm copying it, so I'll not waste much time explaining it. Okay, same tool we are using to just to save it. We will just move ahead and try to see how to define different personas. So again, personas, I'll tell you that this will remain very much same to what we did yesterday. There are some changes that I've done to this code. Okay, how can we get the source code? In the all-in-one documents, I will put everything right over there, right? Jen Bhumi, I'll give you all the source code right over there. Before we end this class, I'll make sure that you have it. So defining the personas, you already know. Yesterday we declared a sales agent that is humorous, one is busy, and one is witty. Now this time we are using the subject instructions and HTML instructions. Subject instructions are, you can write a subject for cold sales email. You are given a message and you need to write a response. Okay. Whereas HTML format is doing what? You can convert a text email into an HTML email body. You're given a text email body, okay, which is clean, but you might have some markdown and you need to convert it into HTML with a simple, clear, compelling layout. Okay, these are the HTML instructions. Just trying to show you different examples, whatever is possible, how you can declare agents. So we will declare 3 different agents. What is it? One is professional, one is engaging, and one is busy. Instructions are what we are passing it. Each uses the same model, so model equals to Ollama model everywhere. This is the you can say 3 different agents. Then we have 2 more agents. One is a subject writer, which writes a subject, and the other is a HTML converter. It converts a text email body into an HTML email body. Nothing but I'm trying to declare more and more agents and trying to show you how these people can work together. Once this is done, now we will declare you can say hands-off. Okay, how we do it? So remember, an agent can use tools, right? Similarly, an agent can also use another agents as tools, right? I'll give you an example on day one also. I'll just repeat that. For an example, suppose I have to create a project which helps me write code, which creates simple applications or simple websites for me. So in order to create a website, I will need a front-end developer, back-end developer, maybe UI UX designer, more agents we will need, right? DevOps, QA, and things like that. So what I will do is I'll create small instructions for QA, for DevOps, for backend and frontend. I'll create these 4 5 agents, and then I'll create a team lead for them. Okay, and what team lead will do is, so team lead will use these other agents also, right? So it will interact with them, and it will retain the complete control over the entire, starting from input to the delivering the final output. It will keep the complete control, and in between it can use as many as times whatever tools and whatever agents it wants. So whenever we want our agent to use another agents as tools, we have to declare something like this. What is it? What are the subject tools? So subject writer, remember line number 63, subject writer is a agent in itself, right? But if we want to create this agent as a tool, what we'll have to do is we will say subject writer as tool. This is how you convert an agent into a tool so that another agent can use it. Okay, this is the format. So now by using subject tool as the variable name or HTML tool as the variable name, I have created agents as tools. Okay, where the tool name is what? This should be the agent name, and description, this should be what it is used at. Okay, that's it. That's how you can declare agents as tools. Okay, now we will create an email manager, okay, which will use other tools. So in order to do that, let us quickly go ahead and declare one more agent that works as a manager. Okay, so email manager agent uses other agents as tools, and our custom file saving tool is also used there, right? So You are an email formatter and sender. You receive the body of an email to be sent. You first use subject writer tool to write a subject for the email. Remember here, subject writer tool in itself is an agent. So it will use this agent as a tool and take its help to write the subject. Then use the HTML tool, which is in itself is the agent, but it will use it to convert it into HTML format. Finally, it will use a save email tool. Okay. So what we have to do is look carefully over here. This is very important. While declaring this agent, we need to give it a name. We need to give instructions. This is okay. You can give name and instructions, which is fine. But in tools, do you see how we are passing agents also as tools? And tools are tools only. So we are giving it three different tools, okay, to do things. And base model is Olama and handoff. What is handoff description? Complete an email and save it to a file. So now our email manager agent knows the responsibility that I am responsible to complete the email and save it to until unless I save it to a file. Okay. So the sales manager can use different sales agents also. Okay. So what we'll have to declare is we will have to declare sales agent as tools. Okay. So let me give you the comment also right over here. The sales manager agent uses the salesperson as tools and the email manager as a handoff. Okay. So see, email manager agent is responsible for this. Responsible for what? It is responsible for taking an email and saving it to a file. Okay. This is the responsibility of email manager. What are sales agent tools? Sales agent tools are responsible for writing the email in the first place. ईमेल लिखेंगे उसके बाद ही तो मैनेजर उसको ईमेल मैनेजर वो ईमेल को यूज करके सेव कर पाएगा, राइट? So first, sales agent tools will work to write the sales, right? For sales email. So for that, we will declare simply the sales manager instructions. You are a sales manager working for this company. You use tools to generate emails. You never generate sales emails yourself. You use tools. Okay. This is just to improvise the prompt. Just to clarify. You try all three agents at least once before choosing the best one. You can use the tools multiple times. Suppose this way what can happen is that an agent the manager goes to three different agents, asks the agent that write email, and out of this three email it is not satisfied with the response. So it is not we are not forcing the agent to pick at least one. We are telling it you can generate emails again and again from these people. You can just give them a feedback that none of these email are good. I'm not even picking a single one. Go ahead and write it again for me. You select a single best email by your own judgment of which email is the most effective. After picking the email, you hand off to email manager to format and save it. So now sales manager knows what is my responsibility. What's its responsibility? Sales manager responsibility had to use three agents, the sale agents, which write content, which write email, right? It will use these three agents to write content, and then it will pick the best content out of it. This is its responsibility. It just have to do a handoff now. So see, this is very important, students, that by declaring agent, we give name, instructions, tools, but now we have a new variable known as hands-off. Okay, handoff, in this we declare what other possible agents are in the list to which it can hand off the task. We for now have only one handoff, which is email manager, and the model which this agent will use. So what will happen is this sales manager will complete the responsibility, but not give the final output back to the server from the server. It will give the output to the previous email manager. Email manager will now complete the email and save it to a file, and then the task is done. Okay, so this is about how we will do it. Now let us just quickly go to the main execution block and try to run off the main execution coming right over here, right? I'll just copy this, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Right over we have the main execution block where we have run handoff workflow. This email orchestrates the entire workflow by first getting the best email and then manually handing it off to email manager. So send out a cold sales email addressed by the dear CEO from LS and running the sales manager agent to get the best email. First, we run the best email generation. Once we have it, we need to manually provide a subject as it's not provided, and we just put it to the email manager. Email manager then does the task. Now, the reason why I am using manual handoff over here is, again, I'll tell you, because Llama 8 billion was not able to tackle the handoff at all. Okay, so this will be again a good coding exercise and a good learning exercise for all of you. That can you modify this code such that we use, first of all, Gemini over here. Okay, you can rewrite this code. In fact, you can tag me on LinkedIn. You can comment me on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me with the improved code if you are able to do it. I would be really interested to see if you people have the capability, if you people can learn to change this manual handoff into automatic handoff by using a bigger model. A bigger model should automatically be able to hand it off, since uh, the Llama it was not able to. But again, I had to show it for people who would be interested to do it for with Llama also. Okay, so this is the idea. This is it, that we are manually handing off by different set of code, whereas directly it should work. Okay, so now let us see if our generated code would do justice over here, right? Let me try to say Python agents handoff. So running the sales manager agent to get the best email. Okay, it is working over there. It is using our local large language model this time, if you remember. Okay. Unfortunately, there is one error in this execution somewhere. Let me try to clear this. Getting agents done with Llama 8 is really challenging. Let me see running sales manager again. Let us see if this will work. Yes, best email draft selected by sales manager. This tool will generate 6 unique options. Would you like to explore more manually handing off? So handoff has happened. Uh, it is attempting to save the email in generated email.txt. The final result from workflow, the email has been saved in this file. Okay, and the workflow complete. The workflow is complete right over here. If we go to generate emails, yes, the subject is there and the body, whatever it's supposed to write in here. Okay. Yes. Hello, sir. I just joined. Am I late? Just saw your ad in this third day. Yes, kind of. You are late because we have covered hands off, we have covered guardrails, we have covered agent-to-agent communications. But since this is always available, this recording is going nowhere. It is always on YouTube. You can recap and enjoy the session at your own pace, right? But you are not late enough to not get the files, not get whatever I am delivering today, right? So let me also upload this second file on Google Drive. I'll go file, upload, agent to handoff. Okay, let me check where this file is. All right, so just let me quickly share the other link also, agent to handoff. Yes, this file is uploaded. Right click, share, share with others. Anyone with the link is viewer permission updated. Let me go to the moderator, share these two links with all. All right, so I have given up the links and they will be quickly coming into you, okay, in the chat. People save this URL. These are the direct files which you will be able to use, okay. Let's wait. This link should be available to all of you. Yes, there you go. The links are available in the chat. You can see The moderators have pushed the URLs and they are available for download. You guys can just take advantage of the source code, try to learn from it. I have given you, in fact, the scope of improvisation. I told you that currently using Llama 8 billion is not sufficient over here. We have to manually use a step to do handoff. You can simply eradicate this and do the handoff automatically. Yes, hi Devendra. Let me see. This is a one single file only, right? Let me copy link address, paste the other one. All right. So other link KEL1E. Yes, you should receive the other link also now, right? All right. Let us check if these files are available to you. People, are you able to open the link? Just let me know. Yeah. So you people have been shared for both the links. Done, right? Okay. Are there any questions for today, people? I will be more than happy to answer it, considering that we were able to complete the description of what hands-off are and what guardrails are and how to use them and how to orchestrate different agents. Okay, Dipanshu is able to open these links. Fair enough. We can utilize our time for today to have more discussion for more Q&A if you want. I'm totally available. We can take it wherever you want. Okay, let us see. Let me just try to refresh the chat. If there is no question, we can then safely end the session right over here. All right, Jen Bhumi is saying thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. This was really an interesting session, and I hope you all are taking back something good with you. All right, see you all for the next live class. Bye bye, Tata, sayonara, signing off.